Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. It's the 14th webinar organized in the working group 6, dissemination, etc. We have the pleasure to have today Professor Dražen Lušić from Croatia. But at the same time, Dražen is the president of International Honey Commission. It's an organization under the umbrella of Apimondia, for those that doesn't know. But Dražen joined us in working group 5 and in the BeSafeBeeHoney section a couple of months ago through invitation in a summer school organized in Lisbon. So we have the pleasure to have Dražen today, but also is a co-leader of working group 5, talking about Quo Vadis honey market in Europe. So Dražen has been very active in the last years. I know Dražen from 2018 when we met in Serbia, but of course, it's a player in the field of bee products quality and authenticity, but also he's an expert of honey tasting with a lot of other colleagues and friends. So this is a short presentation about Dražen, and we will follow his presentation. And of course, if anyone has any question, discussion at the end, we are free to do it. So, Dražen, I did
Thank you.
and said some
Thank
words.
you very much.
I think it's enough. So the floor is for you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Fazio. Short and sweet. Okay, now just a few moments. I will try. I always have this problem with Teams, with sharing the screen, etc. So let me give me a few moments.
Okay, I can support you.
To make
in
it
the
happen.
Corner. Okay, perfect.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yes. Just make it bigger in the corner below, and you can start.
Is it okay now? Can you
Perfect.
see it?
It's perfect. Okay. Floor is yours. Best of luck. We will hear it.
Thank you for the invitation, of course, and to make it happen. I will try to remain within the boundary of 1 hour today. Definitely, I will be within it. So I hope that you will enjoy it. Let's say. Okay. Yeah, I have been introduced. So let's go to the to this. So what is happening? It's not moving. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. So as Fatjon said, presently I am the head of the president of the international honey platform from April 2024, so quite recently. And we are the organization, we are the network of scientists involved in the food safety and quality of beehive products. So as well, I am also part of I have been appointed by the European Commission in the honey platform for as advisory body of experts for the new policy on the honey market. It is, as well as I'm also member of the scientific committee on safety and quality of bee products of the European Beekeeping Association that has recently started to really doing really important things. And what is my enjoyment for the sector? I'm the president of the Croatian Association of Honey Sensory Analysts. Let's begin with the novel thing, quite novel. Last year, new honey directive has been put in place, put in force, and 2025 has been dedicated for the national authorities to implement it, to transpose it into the national regulations, and by definition, it says that by definition, and it is this the honey, as you know, is the natural sweet substance that's made by bees, that is some process of secretions of living parts of the plants, meaning the honeydew or the nectar of flowers. So bees, they collect it, transform it by combining with the specific substances of their own, better say with the enzymes, deposit, dehydrate, store, and leave it in honeycombs to ripen and mature. So this is quite nice definition of honey. What's in saying that nothing but the bees, by the nectar, but the honeydew can be put in the stove, in the pot, and to make honey of it. So it's from the either from honeydew or nectar by bees, their enzymes, no human intervention, no. So this is quite important by in the international level. What's important for me to say that in the historical context, honey has been revered across millennia and in different cultures and civilizations for its particular properties, sweetness. But not only the sweet thing, sweet and natural product, but also holds this significant value in medicine, nutrition, culture, as well as the symbolism. Try to think about honeymoon. That is one of the best examples of connection of sweetness of honey with the real life. We all know what it means. However, due to its price and its significance, honey has been not always, but quite in the last few decades, been concerned for adulteration, and adulteration definitely is a part of the food fraud, or in general, food fraud concept in general, and it threatens its authenticity, and the understanding of its authenticity, it really requires a really wide interdisciplinary approach that includes not only entomology, chemistry, food science, economics, trade, etc. But I always try to emphasize the importance of ethics in it. And by knowing the sector, generally by knowing the business sectors, I wonder whether it still remains some of ethics in the business at all. I hope that I am mistaken on that. When we are talking about the honey market, it's always interesting to know that it would be interesting to know the exact numbers of imports and the numbers of the product that is coming into the European Union, and definitely on that particular regard, there is a lot of room for improvement. By the Eurostat, these are the figures, some figures taken from Eurostat about the imports in European Union, and some export figures. But these figures significantly differs from the figures that are given by International Trade Center, that is the agency connected to Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, as well. With the World Trade Organization, and practically all countries that are members of it are obliged to send data of their own figures, about their own numbers, to that organization. And when you look at it, these are the numbers that you can see now from 2020 to 2024. What would be the different, much higher number of tonnage that has been had been imported in the European Union. You see the particular figures of for certain particular countries and the total. These are the figures about the financial value from the imports from our partner countries. Most notably, you see on the first place Ukraine and China. It's quite important to see these figures, and you see the overall number, the figure. This is the basic figure of import without additional costs, added value, taxes, price difference, etc. So it's quite important. If you see in the millions of euros, it's not pocket money, I would say. So what about according to the International Trade Center, you see the China and New Zealand are the forerunners of this sector, and you see they are quite more or less quite equal in the price value of money value of their exports, but there is a small difference. China exports a lot of honey, and New Zealand exports not too much honey, but the price is almost the same, and it goes. And the merit goes to the Manuka honey that has been revered and been acknowledged as a very, very important and quite expensive honey in all over the world. As being Croatian, I always like to see where is Croatia, and we are in the very good 62nd place. For us, it's also quite a lot of money, but everybody can do the math for their own countries. This figure shows quite interesting thing, that the evolution of honey exports in different two groups of honey, that say from 2009 2010, the exports from this group in blue is the same, and the export from this group of countries in the red skyrocketed. But the fact is that the world number of bee colonies are decreasing. There are more and more problems in the beekeeping sector, more and more problems in honey production, and diseases, pesticides, colony loss disorders, environmental issues like losing the green pastures, losing the environmental resources, would suggest that the number of colonies should be decreased. But you see, there is a skyrocketing increase in this group of honey. So maybe they know something that the rest of the world is not knowing. So there are several implications of that, and in 2021, by the European Union, in its technical report from the Joint Research Center, calculated the average unit value for imported honey was around 2.3 euros per kilo, of course, not taking into consideration the New Zealand. And of course, the rice sugar syrups were at that moment available at, let's say, €0.5 per kilo. So definitely the conclusion was that it was attractive fraud opportunity for dishonest business operators and various. So definitely the conclusion was that it was attractive fraud opportunity for dishonest business operators, and various sources indicated in that period. By that period, that imported honey does not comply with the provisions of EU honey directive, especially with the requirement that honey shall not have added to it any food ingredient, including food additives, nor shall any other additives be made other than honey. So it is in this document. At the EU level, action was organized in 2023 to gather intelligence on the incidence of this so-called non-conforming honey that has been imported. And the action, no, it was done in 2023, and sampling and analysis throughout the European Union countries. You see the numbers of samples taken by each country that participated. Some of the countries were not included in. I don't know why. This action was coordinated by the DJ Sante, Directorate General for Health. The implementation implemented by the members of the EU Food Fraud Network that received the technical assistance of GRC, and of course with the support of the European Anti-Fraud Office. We call it OLAF. So with this, you see the flow of sampled honey, different consignments that were deriving from exporting countries to importing EU member states. And you see how this development goes. This action was, and you see the place of the first destination, EU member states, and then origin, import, and destination information. So this graphics was created by this so-called common health entry documentation, CHED documentation that has to be provided. So it is quite interesting to see who were the countries of origin, who were the biggest importers, and eventually the destinations where all this imported honey eventually ended up. Later in 2023, not in total, well, say in total 320 samples were sent to the GRC for analysis, and 46% of those honeys were suspicious to be adulterated. This is interesting phrase that were used by most of the laboratories, saying that this is not complying with the general provision of for the EU honey directive. However, it was said that it cannot be 100% sure, but it's only suspicious. There are different reasons for that. And this suspicion, on the other hand, was considerably higher than in earlier coordinated control plan that had been performed in 2015 by 2017, where only 14% of samples did not comply with the established benchmark criteria. So the fact is that in 2022, different methods were used, and it significantly improved the detection capability, and that resulted in this difference of 14% to 46%. And one of the conclusions was that, unfortunately, stable carbon isotope ratio analysis, we call it by the acronym abbreviation EAERMS, a method that has frequently been used in the past to detect these sugar syrups made of maize, starch, or sugarcane, was not so effective in detecting honey suspicious of being adulterated. It means that something else was used for creating of these syrup substances, and the answer was that this indication was that sugar syrups made of maize or sugarcane were substituted and replaced by rice, wheat, or sugar beet sugars. So this is the story between C3 plants and C4 plants. So I'm not going into too much into that detail, but consequently, the conclusions were that there are novel analytical methods are still needed to increase the capability of the official control laboratories, authorities, and yeah. So the conclusion was that, and what happened then? GRC made an overview of the methods for detecting honey suspicious of containing added sugar syrups, and you see the method. On the left side, you see the methods. On the right side, you see the benchmark values and markers of the adulteration. So all of these methods had some kind of, not say the defect, but something that was not able to detect some area that was not for detect. So some kind of disadvantages for each of them. So definitely insufficient sensitivity on several of them. In the conclusion, it was the current analytical methods are not yet developed enough, and that proper follow-up of suspicions is necessary. Of course, in the meantime, without better detection capability, it creates very attractive fraud opportunities. That led to the establishment of the Honey platform, and as well as a novel directive, EU Directive 1438 from 2024. This is with the basic what do you say, the basic points was focused on the listing of all countries of origin, in the specification of the percentage of the honey, particular honeys from in the honey blends, and filtered honey had become honey obtained in a manner that results in the significant removal of pollen during the removal of extraneous inorganic or organic substances. So administratively filtered honey does not exist anymore. However, there is always some however. And I will talk about it later. Something that happened with the registration of honey platform. It has been given the new shown some kind of new attention to that sector. And several meetings had been organized, but in my personal point of view, and I believe I share it with many of many other colleagues that were present there and participated, too little has been done. There are many different reasons for that. I will tell you something. I did the mathematics on the Croatian examples, and you can do the math for your own respective countries if you want. I can send you the links for the ITC figures if you want. So this we see the principal partner countries for honey import in Croatia, and you see our principal partners in Europe in general. I'm saying for Croatia, were always Poland, China, and Spain. Quite often they are always changing. They're always sharing the first three positions, and slightly changing during the years. Sometimes one is the first, second, and third, but always in the first three positions. But when you have extrapolated these numbers into in tons and confronted with the price with the money that had been paid for that, you see that different things, some other interesting conclusions appear. Now you see this is a graphical presentation of the biggest import partners for Croatia. But when you put, as I said, when you put it in the numbers, you see that these numbers always first three: Poland, Spain, Germany, China. It's huge number. So in this way, you don't see only how much tonnage you imported, but you see in how much money you paid. And this is the basic price that was paid for these tons, shipment included. And when you confront the tonnage and the price paid, you see then the figures of the honey per kilo. And these are the kilos. So you see, it's something around 2 euros, even less per kilo. So it's I don't know how many beekeepers are here with us in today's webinar, but contacting and myself including, I believe it's not, it's very, I'll never say it's impossible, but I will say that it's extremely difficult to produce honey anywhere in the world for this kind of money. This fight, in fighting for the European market, I always emphasize the importance of this guy, Walter Hafecker, ex-president of the EPBA, that was fighting for the compulsory labeling countries of origin. Him and some other people I know very well. I believe one of the most prominent guys in the sector for fighting for the interest of the beekeeping and consumer sector is Professor Trasivolou from Greece, from Thessaloniki, and he is he had done he has written many good reviews on the sector. So these guys were quite important. But I emphasize this when he was standing media and when commenting that what he's saying that this labeling as a blend of EU and non-EU honey, it really means nothing else than this product is not from the Mars, and that was quite well said. So what we can do, we can choose as doing science or as a fundamental from the fundamental aspects, or to have it in function of the sector. The choice is ours. As I am saying, when I'm coming from our laboratories, they are quite in use for this product and the analysis. So it's quite important for us to have to be present in the sector, not only in lab, or I mean technical lab, instrumental, melissopalinological, but as well as judges of sensory organoleptic properties of honeys. So it's quite important for us in overall judgment of honey origin and honey authenticity, but both botanical quality and the botanical and geographical origin. Well, if we want to scratch our heads and to think more, I will just go briefly to the new honey directive now that has been put in force last year, and this year 2025 has been the year for the implementation of it. It is within the broader so-called breakfast directive of the EU that dealt with the quality and the authenticity of dairy products, fruit juice, honey, and jam. And these on the left, here there are a lot of text, but these on the left side is official reasoning for what were the reasons and outcomes of this honey directive. More comprehensive was on the right side, so you can compare them if you want. And definitely it's a mandatory origin and percentage of honeys on the labeling. However, it has been given some kind of flexibility to different countries to choose if they want to, for example, state only first 4 origins, if they for countries if they exceed 50% of the blend, and others just one by other, in descending order according to their share by weight. This stating of the percentages becomes the responsibility of food operators on their traceability documentation. The filter honey, as I was talking before, as a category has been abolished. However, this definition of the filtered honey has been given as a new one more point to the bakery honey. In Croatia, we don't call it bakery honey. We use the honey. We are using the literally translated. We're using the term honey for industrial use, like our colleagues in Italy. And of course, this so it means really basically it means that filtered honey has been thrown into category of industrial honey. It's still there. It's not abolished. It's still there. And yeah, there's some more things about the for small packages, but I'm not going to burn you with this. Insightful thinking and analysis of it. It's definitely what I told you. Filtered honey becomes industrial honey, definitely. It is also a question who will define and monitor the percentages of the honeys that are labeled that will be they labeled on the honey jars. It's a really challenge, and of course literally by reading the directive now, the burden has been put on the business food operators who place these blends on the market based on their traceability documentation. So it will be quite not on laboratories but on the food business operators. Of course, it's a lot of paperwork, administrative work, etc., and inspections, control bodies, national and European, should give the attention to that particular point. And one thing that I noticed when comparing EU directive and the national regulation, we have this national regulation, we call it regulation on honey. EU directive says much more in explanatory part. So much more text, much more explanation is given in the EU directive. And the first time, what is quite important, for the first time, this at least as I saw, it is certainly worth noticing the section that officially EU acknowledges concerns about significant proportion of honey placed on the EU market being suspicious or adulterated. So it has been written into it, and it is quite important thing in my point of view. We had for Croatia, we were one of the few countries that even before the implementation of putting in force of EU directive, we did it for on these other countries that did it before: Italy, Greece, Cyprus, and Croatia. We did it in 2017 with the full implementation in 2019, and there were some results. And you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries on the. This was one of the first labels I saw it after the full implementation of it on the honey jars. Yeah, one of the first, and there were also some of the operators that didn't comply. And then the beekeeping sector reported to the authorities. This was one of the cases, and you see the mixture of honeys from EU and non-EU. This was in 2020, 2021, so 4 years after full implementation in Croatia, and they were forced to relabel it, to withdraw it and to relabel it. And then we saw what this mixture of honey from EU and outside of the EU means. And it meant that it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 countries. Sausage of 15 countries were mixed. So different blend from the honeys from 15 countries were in this, some of them quite unknown from the at the level of importance of honey production in the world. So see Hungary, Ukraine, Chile, Romania, Argentina, Mexico, Thailand, Bulgaria, Cuba, Spain, Turkey, El Salvador, Greece, Uruguay, Vietnam. So they had to show it to the Croatian consumers, and it was a quite success for the Croatian beekeeping sector. What about European Parliament? And this is practically, I'm coming to the end, I'm to the conclusion. It is quite 2 days ago, unfortunately, latest development showed that 2 days ago, EU Parliament it voted the increase of the maximum residue limits of pesticides, specifically for acetamiprid in honey, and they raised it, they accepted, according to the recommendation of European Food Safety Agency, from 2.5 milligrams per kilo to 1 milligram per kilo, as being considered as safe. They didn't take into consideration concerns from the EBA, European Beekeeping Association, and several other stakeholders of the sectors, saying that maybe it's safe for humans, but what about bees? We'll see how many new contingents of honey waiting on the border will enter now in the European Union. So I'm concluding. These are my research addresses, and here you can see about my activity, and well, as our distinguished colleague from Albania, Dr. Fatjon Hoxha, said, yes, we are organizing the international symposium of international. We are organizing the 7th symposium of International Honey Commission in Croatia next year in March, and you are, as you see, it's here. You can see it on it will be organized here, and these are the dates. This is the web page, so you can check and see what's on the program. So that's about what I wanted to say, and I'm open for questions, discussions. What you say it's needed, I'm here. Fatjon, are you satisfied?
Thank you, Dražen. Thank you, Dražen, for being quick, holistic in all the information that you shared.
You said 45 minutes, so I'm
Yeah,
compliant.
yeah. You know that, but time is illusion, said Einstein. So it doesn't matter when you hear something which might be insightful, and I thank you because you introduced what's happening, and at the end you showed something that the European Parliament has decided only a couple of days ago, and of course there was a reaction about the European Federation that you just mentioned. So thank you once again. Now it's the time. Who has any question, any doubts, any discussion? I think we have a couple of minutes for that, or I'm going to read the question in the chat, which we received from a member of our cast and a colleague. So it is from, just a minute, Gordon, hey. So Gordon has a question, Dražen. Can you suggest any reason for the step change in the gradient for the imports from China plus Ukraine plus Vietnam plus India plus Thailand occurring around 2009 rather than at any other time? Okay, why was that?
Well, I'm not sure. I can only guess what's happening. So I didn't say that there are imports. I'm saying the production from that countries. But I believe that in this period, it's vague memory. I cannot be so sure, but I believe that has something to the change of the regulations in the United States. I believe something was, there were talks about it, but I cannot be very sure. Maybe there will be some other people that can be more. Oh, I see Professor Andreas Trasivolou here. He's also here. Yeah, maybe he can.
He has
get the point.
I guess, open discussion. Professor Andrea, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would like to add a few words about the word suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Again, all the consignments that were found suspicions under the coordinated research action of the European Commission were finally entered into Europe. This means between 80,000 to 19,000 tons non-compliant or adulterated honey enter into Europe through the borders because they are considered suspicious. Suspicious for EU doesn't mean equal proof frauds. Suspicious is a term that reflects regulatory uncertainty and non-scientific doubt about abnormal composition, which in this case really exists. According to EU, suspicious is the honey found to be non-compliant using analytical methods that are not yet fully validated worldwide. And the worst of all, currently there is no single method of honey analysis used in the EU that is universally accepted as fully validated of all possible adulteration. So any method that we use or develop, if it is not validated, they will give results suspicious. And suspicious mean not fraudulent, not adulterate for EU. So we have to develop to validate the methods that we have, but only the EU references laboratory will be authorized to develop and validate references methods. And while the regulation, the border regulation 2017/625 said the rules for establishment of these references laboratories, delegated act never issue. And now the Commission asked the honey platform to discuss the implementation and the establishment of EU references laboratory. The EU references laboratory, the expert of honey platform, cannot make validate methods. So we have to wait until the references laboratory will establish to have validate methods. And this will be after 10 years, I think. So that's the problem. For the next decade, we will not have validate methods to find whether the honey is adulterated or not. Okay.
Dear Professor Andreas, thank you for bringing in this webinar today, a discussion that took place in Honey Platform, because I just read the comments on the meeting on Honey Platform on 12th of November. Yeah, that's true. That what you said is true, because DG Sante, we are going a little bit in detail now, and probably the members in the meeting today do not have the full picture of this meeting, but in the link that I shared, you can find the information, the minutes of the meeting, was a proposal for establishing or creating a EU reference laboratory or a European Union reference center relevant to honey authenticity. We have to keep in mind, Professor Andreas, that for the honey fraud has been working all these years, because we have the reports from 2021, but also reports couple or around 10 years ago, 2015, 2017, from Joint Research Center. And they have a unit which they are working on some methods, validation of the methods. But the problem is that everything that you try to develop something, you have a new type of adulteration, a new type of mispresentation of the information. And I think that the proposal in the Honey platform that we have from the minutes of the meeting and the proposal is that organizing 2 meetings per year, because till now they have organized 3 meetings and the next is going to be on the 6th of May. It's an open discussion, asking people, asking the members of Honey platform, but of course the members of Honey platform represent different entities. Some are individual experts, but some represent organizations, etc. I agree with you that to have validated a full spectrum, a database, of course, we need around 10 or more years that to do something. So thank you for pointing out that point, which is crucial. We have another question from Benjamin. Benjamin, the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon from Nigeria. Am I audible, please? Are you able to hear me? Okay, thank you so much, Professor Dražen, for this wonderful webinar. In fact, I gained a lot of value from this work. In recent times, I've picked a lot of interest in beekeeping and research as it relates to bees, sustainable beekeeping, and how it can enhance climate resilience, because in Nigeria, we have come to see that climate change can affect beekeeping in some ways. I don't know whether you've been able to do any kind of research like that in Europe on the impact of climate change on beekeeping in some aspect, in some parts of Europe. How is climate change affecting beekeeping in Europe? Okay, then I want to find out also about the 7th International Symposium on Bee Products, which Professor Dražen talked about. Today I heard about it, so I sent my abstract because I would like to really participate in this symposium. Would there be opportunity for full sponsorship for people like us from Africa, courtesy of Cost Action, because I'm also part of the Cost Action Group CA22105. Would Cost Action be able to sponsor us to attend that conference in March next year? So these are my questions, and I look forward to more opportunities for collaboration, especially as it relates to sustainable beekeeping and climate change, climate resilience in Africa. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin.
Well, what can I say? Regarding the climate changes and how it affects beekeeping, I believe there are several papers on researches, not several, many, had already been done. What I'm this webinar is more concerned on the market and the economics, etc. But not to completely distract myself now from the environmental and the climate changes point of view. I have to say, never mind how climate changes are affecting beekeeping sector. There is always full supply of honey on the shelves. I'm talking about honey. I'm not talking about the price. The shelves are always full. That's something that is not logical. You understand? Regarding the question you were I don't know, was it the question to cost or
I guess it's
the
for
organizers?
The cost.
Yes.
The cost is for the support of the cost. I guess Andrea can help me with this, because in the cost there are different opportunities to support participation, etc. But I am not sure if Nigeria it's a country who can. So I recall for this my colleague and the chair of the Cost Action BeSafeBeeHoney, Andrea.
Yes. In the cost, everyone can participate and join the working group meetings. For working group meetings, especially online. Everyone can join and be active. Although for participation in person, for countries outside the COST members, I think we can only invite once during the whole period of the COST action. So in case, for instance, I invite you for one meeting and you are here with your expenses covered, of course, then it will be only one time. Okay. For the selection of the people that are going to the meetings, it depends on the activity of the person in each working group. So we normally invite the active members of each working group to be present in our meetings. So for that, the best way to be more engaged is to connect with the working group leader of your working group of interest, and then see what activities are being held and try to connect and try to engage and participate in the activities. I hope I answered.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. I don't see any other hands. So I think we are at the end. If any other doesn't have any question, doubts. So I think once again
there is another question
in the chat.
Yeah.
Let me see the chat. Okay, question. How should oblige the operator to label these 15 countries on the label? As far as I know, this was not possible to force operators packing outside the country with a stricter regulation than the honey directive to fulfill the national law, which is exactly what is happening in France. Stricter rule for French, but still blend. EU and non-EU mentioned for blend honey packed in Belgium and sold in France. So this is the question, and the question is from Cindy. Hey, Cindy.
So I'm going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. You are from Croatia.
I explained you clearly that in 2017 we put in force the amendments of the national regulation deriving from honey directive of that era, saying that the compulsory labeling was obligatory is compulsory labeling of all countries of origin. And we took the examples of Greeks, Cypriots, and Italians, and we passed it through our national authorities, and with a grace period of more than a year and a half to expand all labels on the shelves, in the storages, and that was it. Yes, it was compulsory for all of them, not only for the people, for the operators that packaged the honey in Croatia, but for all countries. So it can be done. I believe that somebody in our government understood, calculated that the reward was much bigger than the eventual punishment, but nothing happened. And now we see that we were right. And now with the novel directive, I believe in 2017 on the International Honey Commission Symposium on Malta, I was presenting that on that period, and some of people said it will be impossible, it will never happen in the European Union, etc., etc. And you see now, we have it. Plus, we have also compulsory percentages, so it is possible. Just first moves and some courage, of course. Can you hear me? Andrea, maybe you, if Fation is, I believe Fation is frozen in the screen. Andrea, maybe you can.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah, there is a raised question, I believe, from Professor Trasivolou.
Andreas. were two Andreas.
Yeah, Andreas and Andrea. Yeah.
Okay, regarding the list of countries of origin, I saw the labels that you indicated there are all valid, are violated the EU regulation 1169, which says that the number of countries should be listed in not among other information at the back of the label.
Plus, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
mislabeling. And we
Even
searching in Greece in 3 years, and we found all the important honey from other countries. They have mislabeling according to this regulation. It's a violation of this regulation. And while we sent complaints to the governments, they did nothing about this. So the enforcement of regulation in this case help the fraudsters to hide the country of origin in that way. And this is really a problem. I think we discussed this, Dražen.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to admit that even that what we did was a sweet victory. Of course, it was done by it has been led by the beekeeping sector. Beekeepers were a beekeeper organization actually filed a complaint and reported to the Croatian State Inspectorate.
Yeah, but the way that they presented the countries of origin is a violation of the regulation. That's
of course, I know, but we were fighting in that period. We were fighting for full respect of complying to Croatian regulations. This was the case, and I completely agree. Even now, when they hide these many countries of origin somewhere in the behind the jar, it's not in the spirit of what EU directive says now. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the problem will increase from the June of 2026 when the proportion of plantants will be mandatory.
It will be. It's a challenge.
We don't have methods, or we don't have administration methods to find and to verify these countries and the proportion that exists in the label. So anyone anyone can write anything that he wants.
Yeah. And authorities will not move unless they are warned.
Okay.
I believe I see another hand from Violeta Santrach.
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Dražen, for excellent presentation and good overview for everything. I am coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina. We are not part of European Union, and also we are importing honey from many countries, even from Croatia at most. So,
you do good.
Yeah, that's nice. It's perfect. Now after the webinar, everything is okay. Everything is okay. But concerning the common knowledge and my personal perception as a beekeeper, researcher, and veterinarian. So what is the point to make any kind of control of honey? Because we still now in this era, we don't have the methods that can be verified by the users as a simple labs. We are doing the quality control. We have national legislation, but seems that is just a playground for the child. even Apimondia last year, actually this year, they just abused to make any kind of honey competition concerning the best honey in the world, because they assume there is no need and there is no method to judge the best honey in the world, because adulteration is so high that they just support adulterators. So what is the conclusion about Everyday's Lab, what we are doing? Thank you.
You're asking me what I'm going to do now after this webinar?
No, just
I'm going for a lunch.
Yeah, sorry, maybe the question is it's too long, but I try to sum up what we are doing.
Well,
concerning the honey quality.
Try to be slightly shorter for me to understand what you're. If you are asking what's the point, a lot of fruitful work for many people, administration, scientists, etc. Even for us, a lot of fruitful work. I'm not saying about the results, nothing. I'm saying that it will be a lot of work. What will happen in the future? Well, this is life. Life is fighting and trying to make best of it, and then we'll see. I believe that here within this cost action, we are gathered as scientists to see what's going on, to see how people are doing, to see what are the project ideas, what can be done in terms of joint publication, etc., etc. So all this is our way to fight it. So we have to do. But I'm doing that. I'm not saying for anybody that anybody has to do anything. But yeah. So I'm going to study, to research, to teach, and to publish. That's I believe this is what we can do, and of course to share conclusions and a common knowledge and common understanding of the sector. If we are now having this idea, I don't know who came to this idea that it is good to raise the level of pesticide in honey from 0.5 to 1. So it is against all logics from the beekeeping sector. This is life.
Okay, Dražen. I lost a couple of minutes, but I am back. So we have another spywalk.
Yeah,
yes, Sebastian. The last one, I guess. The last. Sorry, Sebastian.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to give a short comment, because this is spread quite often, and so I would like to correct it. Apimondia did not stop the honey test on the Congress because they say they cannot test the honey. This is a false information. They do this because they cannot guarantee the quality of the honey contest for every year or every country where the Congress will take place. That's the background of stopping the honey contest. Not because they are not, they were not able to say or not able to test the honey properly. But as it was said, we have the problem that we need now quite a lot of different methods to analyze the honey, to combine them. And definitely what Dražen was also saying before, we need definitely new methods, or the point is that the methods that are already available have to become official methods. They have to become harmonized so that they can finally be used by the official for the official controls. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I agree with Sebastian. Yeah, I agree with Sebastian. Yeah, different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am. Now
May I say one more thing?
Yes, you are the guest.
I see that Paulo Russo Almeida is here with us, and I do apologize to him. We are planning to have this Erasmus, but my administration is still missing to send me the paperwork. Sorry, Paulo. I did personally. I went to the people responsible. I believe we will do it next year.
Yeah, for sure. And since you mentioned someone from Italy, I guess, now it's time to say goodbye, as Andrea Bocelli says. So thank you once again, Dražen, and thank you to all participants. I leave the floor to Andrea. From my part, I wish you Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We will have time to discuss. We will have a work group meeting 5, 1, and 4 next year in the first days of March, probably. And I guess we will meet on Porets and the final conference, not the final, but the next conference of the cost action, it will be in Albania, 6 to 8 May. But for that, you will have all the information. So, best wishes for 2026 and see you in 2026 physically, some of you. Thank you. Andrea,
Thank you.
you can do.
Bye-bye.
I think best wishes for all of you, and wait for our news for the new events of the next year. Thank you, Dražen,
Thank you very
for
much.
the,
Thank you,
for the
Dražen.
presentation.
Hvala.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.